I invite him as a formidable partner of this chapter to the high table. Please put your hands together for Mr. Moruf Tijani, FCA. If you do not clap very well, we might ask you to provide us with your tax details. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. At this point in time, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with the high table almost fully constituted, I'd like to crave your indulgence that we please all rise as we take the national anthem at this event. Please, can we all rise for the national anthem? We will sing the national anthem after 2, 1, 2. Arise, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. Thank you very much. And at this point in time, please can we be seated, even as I invite for an opening prayer, one of us and a friend of the family. I'm talking about Pastor Chris Dolure, to please lead us in an opening prayer. Please can we applaud him as he comes forward. And like I told you, it's going to be a brisk event, so I know that you want to go count money that accrued over the weekend. Thank you, Pastor Chris.
Shall we all rise upon our feet to have a word of prayer? Eternal Rock of Ages, the Ancient of Days, unto you be all the glory for this day. We thank you, Lord, on behalf of the Lagos State in general. We thank you on behalf of the chapters of the ICANN in Lagos State. We bless your holy name for what you have been doing in the midst of that individual. We give you all the glory. We say, Lord, be thou exalted forever in the name of Jesus. Eternal Rock of Ages, we commit today into your most holy hands. Lord, we want you to have your way in our midst and take absolute control of everything that we want to do today. And at the end of this program event, that your name alone will be highly exalted and forever be given the glory. Thank you, Father, because we believe that you are already in our midst and you are going to accomplish everything for us. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. And let the people of God say amen.
Amen. Please can we applaud Pastor Chris once again? We thank you very much, sir, for doing us this honor. But before we sit too comfortably, I'd like to let you know, as it is a tradition with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, we will take the ICANN anthem. Please, we will take the ICANN anthem. And I'm sure we all know it. Of course we do. The ICANN anthem. I want to find out who has a sonorous voice to lead us in that anthem. So the immediate past chairman of ICANN, please can you step forward, sir? Oh, okay. My president from Ikeja is here and he will, my chairman, sorry, chairman from Ikeja.
We'll take it after the count of 2. 1, 2. Bless God, I can fount of treasure in triumph, a banner raised, standing stronger in harmony, building a land together. Dreams of a founding fathers, we are striving to attain. Our content values that we share through all ages be sustained. Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Noble icon, your accuracy we cherish. We uphold your integrity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you, Chairman, Ikeja chapter. I've been told now that the representative of the president, the 58th president of ICAN, is joining us at this point in time. So I will crave your indulgence because I wouldn't want him to miss out on the address of welcome by the chapter chairman. I know that what we can do, you know, normally on occasions like this, I like to take us through some aerobics, but I won't do that this morning because I know that most of us have gone to the gym and we've taken a walk this morning, but we will just hold on for the next 2 minutes so that the first deputy vice president of ICAN, I'm talking about Chief DCS Alaribe FCA, will be stepping in to stand in for the president of ICAN in person of Malam Musa Isa. So can we have very light music while we wait for the president, ably represented by the first deputy vice president? He will be joining us very shortly. Please, can we welcome the representative of the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, in person of the Permanent Secretary Accountant General, Lagos State, Dr. Abiodun Moritala, FCA. Thank you very much, sir, for being here this morning and doing us this great honor. It's indeed a pleasure. And also joining us at this point in time is a representative of the 58th president of ICAN, Malam Tijani Musa Isa. He's ably represented by the first deputy vice president, Chief DCS Alaribe FCA. Sir, please just move up to the high table. Can we applaud them? Mr. Governor and the President of ICAN, we thank you very much, sirs. Thank you. Thank you. We can please have our seats now. We thank you very much. Thank you very much. The Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary, Accountant General for the state, Dr. Murtala Abiodun. The Chairman, Local Government Service Commission, our own dear Honorable Kamal Ayinde Bayewu. The body of permanent secretaries here present, particularly Permanent Secretary Auditor General for Local Governments in Lagos State, Mr. Obafemi Musa Ogunlano, FCA. The 58th President of ICAN, Malam Tijani Musa Isa, FCA, ably represented by the First Deputy Vice President, Chief DSC Alaribe, FCA. Executive members of ICAN, Lagos State Public Service Chapter here present, particularly the Chairman, Mr. John Olukayode Oyegunle. All past chairmen of the chapter here present, accountants from various ministries, departments, and agencies of government here present, our distinguished guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I say good morning to you all, and thank you very much for being here. However, I crave your indulgence that I also recognize in this order of protocol, a past president of the Chartered Institute of Accountants in Lagos, in Nigeria, beg your pardon. He is our guest lecturer today, Alhaji Razak Jayeola. All courtesies extended, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on at this program this morning, I will not be in the best position to welcome each and every one of you. This gentleman will do that on our behalf. I'm talking as members of the Lagos State Public Service Chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, and indeed, Lagos State Government. Please welcome to the microphone, Mr. John Olukayode Oyegunle, FCA.
His Excellency, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by Dr. Abiodun Murtala, the Accountant General of Lagos State, the Deputy Governor, Dr. Kadri Obafemi Hamzat, the Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Rabi Olowo, members of the State Executive Council, our Head of Service, Mr. Akim Olayinka Muri-Okanla, the Chairman, Local Government Service Commission, Honorable Kamal Ayinde Abiodun Bayewu, FCA IB, the President of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Malam Tijani Musa, ably represented by Mr. Alaibe, the Deputy Vice President, members of the Board of Permanent Secretaries. In his own capacity, the Accountant General of Lagos State, Dr. Abiodun Murtala, the Auditor General for Local Government, Mr. Femi Ogunlano, the General Managers here present, Directors, Head of Government Parastatals, the distinguished members of the ICAN Governing Council, the guest speaker, distinguished members of the Institute, especially my colleagues in the Lagos State Public Service Chapter, other stakeholders, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with a great pleasure and utmost delight that I welcome our special guest of honor, the man with media's touch, a distinguished technocrat, a sessional leader, a seasoned administrator, and a political juggernaut, Mr. Babatunde Olushola Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos State, and the chairman of today's event, and all other important dignitaries to the 12th annual public lecture of the Lagos State Public Service Chapter of our esteemed professional institute. We are immensely grateful to you for honoring us with your cherished presence and looking forward to sharing your thoughts on the theme of today's lecture. Considering its theme, exploring benefits of blockchain technology to achieve the team's agenda of Lagos State. Today's event will no doubt open our eyes to how we can take advantage of blockchain as an emerging technology to achieve the 6 pillars of the state strategic development agenda, ensuring good service delivery and other advantages in blockchain technology. With Mr. Governor's team agenda used as the catalyst for achieving the state vision of making Lagos State African model mega city and global economic financial hub, Governor Sanwo-Olu has without doubt recorded a remarkable achievement in critical sectors of the state economy, such as transportation, health, education, road construction, rural development, youth and women empowerment, social security, culture and tourism, etc. All these landmark achievements of Governor Sanwo-Olu's administration, built on good legacy of successive administration at the center of excellence, have really opened and attract investors to the fifth largest economy and most populous city in Africa, thereby enhancing the state potentials for a future smart city. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is no out of doubt in the fact that Lagos State, under the present administration, is on course towards achieving the state policy thrust of poverty eradication and sustainable economic growth through infrastructural renewal and development. However, in order to sustain and even surpass the gains and achievements that have been made, the integration of blockchain technology into the plans and development agenda of the state government has become imperative, and to a large extent, this has formed the basis for choosing the theme for the 12th annual lecture of our noble professional body. To this end, our great speaker is expected to throw more light on the theme. Permit me at this junction to give you an insight into the theme of today's lecture. In the minds of ordinary layman, the question of what is blockchain technology and how it works will vibrate and probably look difficult to comprehend. Over the past 2 years, you have constantly heard of the term blockchain technology, probably regarding cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Blockchain is a method of recording information that makes it possible or difficult for the system to be changed, hacked, or manipulated. A blockchain is a distributed ledger that duplicates and distributes transactions across the network of computers participating in the blockchain. Every transaction in the ledger is authorized by a digital signature of the owner, which authenticates the transaction and safeguard it from tampering. Hence, the information in the digital ledger contained is highly secure. In view of the above, blockchain is an emerging technology with many advantages in an increasing digital world, and it has been adopted by many countries in the world. I'm happy to state that the quest by Governor Sanwo-Olu's administration to achieve Lagos State Developmental Plan through the team's agenda is very much on course. This is in view of the fact that the state is presently home to over 65% of Nigerian businesses, with the completion and ongoing construction of critical development infrastructure that have created new economics in the state, facilitating growth and propelling the state economy to enable heights. Let me also emphasize here that the development presently witnessed in Lagos State under the innovative leadership of Mr. Governor is not only historical in the annals of the state, but a confirmation that the effort of the present administration to put up a global competitive state with the highest potential for sustainable development had received both national and international recognition, despite the challenges being faced in other areas. It is therefore worth mentioning here that Lagosians have not seen anything yet in terms of development. The landmark achievement of Mr. Governor in the last 3 years plus are just the tip of the iceberg. The good work will continue when our amiable and hardworking governors is re-elected for a second term in office come February 2023. We are proud of your achievements, sir, and we pray for continuous divine direction, wisdom, and knowledge required to deliver on your mandate to the delight of citizenry on behalf of Lagosians. We say a big thank you. Let me use this opportunity to also express our appreciation to the head of service, Mr. Hakim Uriokola, and other senior professional colleagues from serving and retired permanent secretaries, the Accountant General of Lagos State, the Auditor General of Lagos State, the general managers, directors, head of government, parastatals, middle-level managers, and senior officers in the public service of the state, and other invited dignitaries for attending this annual lecture. Distinguished audience, I have no doubt in my mind that our experienced, vast, and articulated speaker will do justice to the theme of today's lecture. On this note, I implore everyone present here to take full advantage by listening with rapt attention. It is my hope that the lecture will take our dear state to the next level of development. I thank you for listening, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Please, can we applaud Mr. Oyegunle, FCA, more resoundingly? The beauty of it is when an accountant endorses you, it tells me that you must be very prudent, because accountants do not like people who have light fingers, you know. So when he said, Mr. Governor, we are hoping and praying, I said, that means money has remained in the kitty. Thank you very much, the chairman of the Lagos State Public Service chapter of ICANN. Mr. Governor, ably represented, the chairman, Local Government Service Commission, the body of permanent secretaries here present, the 58th ICANN chair president here present, ably represented, past president of ICANN, and indeed our guest lecturer today. All other courtesies extended, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on at this event this morning, we will be hearing the words of commendation, the words of advice, and it can only come from the father of this entire body. I'm talking about the 58th ICANN president. Please welcome the representative of Malam Tijani Musa Isa in person of the first deputy vice president, Chief DCS Alaribe FCA, for his opening remarks. Can we please applaud can we keep applauding the president through his representative?
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. That sounds better and very encouraging. I'm very sorry for coming late. It was due to traffic situation and so many other endogenous and exogenous variables. Please forgive me if I start explaining. We won't leave here in time. In an afternoon mass, the Reverend Father does not preach so long because people will be going back to their offices. His Excellency, the Executive Governor, ably represented, please let me stand on existing protocols because we have wasted quite some time so that we can gain time. I'm here to represent the 58th president of ICANN, Malam Tijani Musa Isa FCA, who would have loved to be here, but due to exigencies of office, too many daughters made the mother hen not to attend to all the daughters at the same time. But thank God the president has messengers like me that he can send. So he said I should say his love to you, that next time you have an event, he would like to be here. But at that kind of event, you have to carry the president along so that he can look at his diary. If you tell him when you have the event, then you can now look at his diary. You want to go for traditional wedding, it has to be when it's convenient for your in-laws. Yes. Now the goodwill message, which is a very short one from the president. The annual lecture is one of the flagship programs of the Lagos State Public Service Chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. The past editions of the program had contributed to national debates, developed profound and feasible recommendations, impacted policies, and generally enhanced accountant and finance experts' competencies. It is noteworthy that for 12 years, past and current leadership of the ICANN Lagos State Public Service Chapter have sustained this annual intellectual discourse. This is an encouraging commentary on the quality of leadership, which has qualified the chapter to be one of the most vibrant ICANN chapters. The 12th edition of the public lecture is focusing on another topical subject, blockchain technology, financial dynamics for economic growth and development. Every sector has been disrupted, and technology remains the game changer in addressing the challenge of the economy and development. Blockchain technology is evolving with several potential use cases for financial reporting, auditing, tax, financial services, trade, and so on. However, concerns are still rife on the development, standardization, and optimization of the technology. As we face the global challenges of declining growth, Russia-Ukraine crisis, spiraling inflation, climate change, among others, we anticipate that blockchain will be fully standardized, optimized, and integrated into the operations of the various sectors of the economy. This would improve efficiency in data management for decision-making purposes and contribute significantly to meeting the challenges of growth and development. I commend the leadership. That is the president too. I'm only saying what he put here. When I say I, is the president. A messenger does not say proverbs, so it's the president. I commend the leadership of ICANN Lagos State Chapter for bringing us together to explore this germane topic. We are indeed most honored to have our revered past president, Alhaji Razak Jayola, known as AJ Silicon. You're welcome, sir. The president did not add that to. I'm the one that put that. So that when I receive a query, I will not have to answer. So he's our guest speaker. We couldn't have had a better professional to handle this, because when you are talking about zigzag movement, you have to go to the land of the snake. On that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
please, can we put our hands together for Chief DCS Alaribe FCA? We thank you very much. Yes, indeed. At this point in time, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, like I promised you, we're going to move very fast at the speed of lightning. More importantly, knowing that the body of permanent secretaries who are here will have to also join ESCO in a few, should I say minutes? We'll hold them here. You know, once we lock the door, they won't go. Please shut the door so that the noise from outside will not filter. I didn't say that they should not go. The noise from outside should not filter. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the next item, which will be a sensitization on taxation and taxes, I'd like to recognize, with the kind permission of Mr. Governor, ably represented, the past chairman of this great chapter, as described by the 58th president of ICANN. He referred to this chapter as a very great one. Therefore, there are gentlemen and women who in the last 12 years have given this chapter the weight that it has. It does not need to go on a diet. We needed to add more weight. And that's why we're here together once again at this annual lecture. And as I mentioned them, I crave their indulgence. Some of them are very shy, like me. I can't face the camera, you know. So some of them might be crowd shy like you and me. But the truth be told, we need to celebrate them because they are worthy leaders. I'd like to crave the indulgence of Mr. Olutope Shakuruddin Odusonya. Please can we applaud this gentleman? These, I call him Igoro. I'd also like to crave his indulgence to please be upstanding. Mr. Waliu Adekunle Abdul, FCA. And the very delectable Mrs. Iyabo Oyeyemi Ayola, FCA. Okay, she's not yet around. We have Mr. Hakeem Alade Tyro, FCA. The tallest among them all. Mr. Babalola Shuaib Badmas, FCA. The tallest. And of course, Mrs. Adebola Odubore, FCA. Mr. Shegun George Olaniyan, FCA. And Mr. Olabode Lamidi, FCA. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the leaders who have given this chapter a very good stature in terms of height, in terms of mass, in terms of intellect, in terms of mileage. Can we please applaud them once again very resoundingly? Under their leadership, even the PS Accountant General is under them. PS Auditor General Local Government is under them. Please applaud them. Applaud them. We thank you very much. Please, can you take a seat now? We thank you. Thank you very much. And just like Chief Alaribe said, I didn't say that. It's embedded inside the program. At this point in time, we'll be moving on to the sensitization on personal income tax. He tried to dodge, but you know, God has a way of perfecting his things. The person that he said should do this, the man now said, I am in the office. Oga, do it on my behalf. Please welcome representative of LIRS, Mr. Maruf Tijani, FCA. He has just like 4 minutes before we take the keynote. Okay, you said less than 4 minutes. You said less than 4 minutes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. the AGPS, representative of the Executive Governor of Lagos State. Let me stand on the already established protocols so as to save time. I've been given 4 minutes. I hope and wish I'll be able to do that in just 4 minutes. Although what I need to say is not much, it's what you've heard before. It's just for us to also sensitize ourselves on the issue of taxes, particularly as it has to do with personal income tax that Lagos State Internal Revenue Service is also involved in. As a tax authority, the mandate we have is to administer personal income tax. And as we all know as well, that most of us are employees. So we're saying that pay is being deducted from us on regular basis, on monthly basis, so to say. But basically, I had a conversation with the president, or the chairman of the chapter rather. And then, so this also led to what we're doing today. And what is that? That most of our colleagues are not aware of their obligations. You know, tax is a function of the law. So you cannot do anything outside that. So what we're doing sometimes is that we are breaking the law unknowingly. Let me use that word so that it doesn't look like, yes, we're intentionally, you know, breaking the law. And then so what we do as a tax authority is that we administer personal income tax, like I said. And what are those taxes? We have payee, which most of you are already aware of. We also have direct assessment. We have capital gain tax for individuals. We have business premises levy. We have stamp duty. We also have withholding taxes. But the one that concerns us most is personal income tax and also direct assessment. The obligation we hold the tax authority as an individual is to ensure that on annual basis, we file our returns. And then you also remember, like 2 years ago, the head of service issued a circular sensitizing all civil servants to file Form A. So meaning that as an individual, we're expected to file Form A, but our employer will file Form H1 for us, filing for our already deducted payee. So what most of us believe is that once our employer has done that, there's no reason for any one of us to file Form A. This is against the law. It's a strict liability. Upon conviction, you are liable to a fine of 50,000 naira. But what we're saying is that once you have been convicted, you're a criminal, right? The lawyer in the house. I'm correct. Yeah, Mr. Kilako is confirming that as somebody who is a lawyer and also work with high courts. So we don't want to find ourselves on the other side of the law. So meaning that what we're expected to do on annual basis is to file our annual returns, meaning that our employment income that has, been subjected to taxes will also be filed. Then income from other sources, global income, whether you have trade income, whether you have rental income, whether you have, dividend received and what have you. Okay, somebody is wondering why we need to declare our rental income. Or sometimes we claim that, we don't have any other income apart from, our payee, which most of us know are not very correct. So sometimes we do it and we get away with it. But I can assure you that in the nearest future, it will be very difficult to, dodge all these, payments. But before we get to that level, I think we need to also preach to ourselves. And we also need to be, a kind of, go out there and preach to people they need to pay tax. And you also know that it's very important for us to do this because that's what Lagos State government is also using to develop the state. But beyond the issue of filing, like I mentioned, we also have the obligation that the law requires that most of us that are director of accounts, finance and accounts, are expected to request for tax clearance of those that are transacting business with our MDAs. It is the function of the law. So for whoever refused to do that, is also guilty and liable to a fine of about 5 million naira, if I'm not mistaken, and also conviction. So it is very important for us to avoid all of this. So when we do this, we need to look at the global picture. Sometimes people believe that, oh, why should I be doing LRS job for them? So it's not about you doing LRS job, but it's about you looking at the bigger picture, that where government is getting money to prosecute all these projects is from taxes, because about 80% of our revenue comes from tax revenue, and the other MDAs make about 20% of it. So if you're just the 80% and looking at what we contribute to the pot, then we're not being patriotic. So it's not about you doing LRS job, it's what the law asks you to do. So you must request for tax clearance of every contractors, every suppliers, every vendor that you're transacting business with in your MDAs. So when you do that, then you also ensure that these people are paying, because there are two issues here: paying and also paying adequately. So some people can be paying without paying adequately, and that's why they ask you to also, verify the taxes paid by contractors when we're about paying them. And so we send their clearance to LRS to confirm whether this payment, is even genuine and also it's even adequate. But when we're not doing that, we're saying that, yes, anything goes. And when that happens, at the end of the day, we're changing the government from getting, the required revenue to also, carry out various projects that we need to do. So that's also very important for us to note. Like I said, filing is very important so that we don't find ourselves on the other side of the law. We are compiling names of those that have refused to file, individual, HNI, because I'm sure some of us in this hall will also fall into that category of high net worth individual, right? So whether we're there or not, we pray that everybody gets there. But it's also very important that we need to know what the law says so that, we'll be able to, avoid trouble in future. I still have time, right? Oh, 1 more minute. Wow. Okay. I thought I've exhausted my 4 minutes. So having said that, it's also very important that we try as much as possible to, get abreast of what the law says. So what we're doing right now, I just read that Mr. Rashid will have been here, for payee and for corporate bodies, for corporate organization, effective from 1st of this month, we have a discontinued payment through EBS. So we're now paying through eTax portal. So individuals are also advised to go on eTax portal and register. So you can even, just click, the system and see your tax records, all the payments you have made to Lagos State from whenever. You can just check all of this on your own once you're able to log onto the system, creating your payer ID, your user name, and also payer your ID, and then password. So you can log onto the system and check payments made at any point in time, whether for lands, whether for survey or taxes that you have made. So it's very important that we look at this and also take advantage of the system. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity given. And like I said, I'm just standing in for Director in Personal Income Tax that is expected to do this. And I hope if you have any issue, question to ask, you can always reach me. I'm very available. I'm sure the President can give my number. If you want me to give my number, I can do that. So that once you have a problem, you can always get across. Am I permitted to do that, MC? Okay. So 080 233 70779. Beyond that, we have customer care lines that you can call. 070, call LRS. So you can call into the customer care service and you also get every response you need. Thank you very much.
Please can we applaud him once again? And At least one good thing that he has enlightened us about is how not to go to jail. We thank you very much. And don't forget, he says his number is available anytime. But for your sake, more than his, please don't call after 9 p.m. Madam takes it very seriously. She doesn't joke with from 9 p.m. I've given him to you 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. After that, he's my property. We thank you very much. Once again, Mr. Maruf Tijani, FCA. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, it will be the turn of a gentleman to talk to us. And before I let you know what he will be saying and whatever, every other thing and all of that, I'd like to invite to please come up to join the high table, a former permanent secretary, Ministry of Wealth Creation in Lagos State, Mr. Olujimi Ige. FCA. They take this FCA very personal. And of course, the representative of the Office of the State Auditor General, representative of the State Auditor General, Mr. Adewiji. Please can you join us up on the high table. To let you know that I love to come to this kind of gathering because today, with the way all my past chairmen were saying FCA, 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 I now have an arsenal that I will use when I get home because I'm married to one of you. And I must tell you the truth, to get any money out of that gentleman. So what I will do now is when I get home, good evening, Mr. Kukoi, FCA. And when I say good morning to him, before I ask, I say, so please, Mr. Kukoi, FCA, can I have, I think that is the key. At this point in time, don't worry, I'm learning fast. The only thing that I don't know is if you give me your money to calculate, it might go wrong. When it's not English grammar, you are asking me to speak. But to give us a goodwill message, I'd like to invite from the family of auditors, and I understand they are now the best friend of accountants. No. Okay. Please welcome with me the Permanent Secretary, Auditor General for Local Governments, Mr. Obafemi Musa Ogulano, FCA, for his goodwill message. My PSR, I have the directive of the body of accountants to say it's just for 2 minutes. Please can we put our hands together for the PS, Auditor General for Local Governments. Please keep applauding him till he gets here. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, all. Mr. Governor, ably represented, I want to stand by the well-established protocol. Well, being regarded to as an auditor, first we were accountants before becoming auditors. And I say auditors are hybrid. It means they know what the accountant knows, but the accountant might not know what they do. I know Alhaji Razak will come and fight me. We fought that when he comes here. blockchain technologies, distributed ledgers, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoins, and lately we had the e-Naira. I'm sure Alhaji Razak will take us through that, and how, as professionals in public service, we are able to apply that and take the state to the next level. My interest really is to further applaud the ideas that birthed this chapter, and to commend resoundingly again the back on which we rode to get to this level. And with the very belief that we continue in this ride, and not only being pace setters, and like was acknowledged by the president, will be people, a group that others will want to emulate. But I want to admonish us that there's a lot that we have to do. ICANN members in public service are gradually becoming endangered species. And the work to be done is not only by the institute, by the chapter, by the accountant general, but by every one of us to look for a way or ways to continue to encourage this up and coming, or this new entrance, such that they can walk this glorious path. On that note, I want to encourage us to listen and take as much as possible away from this session. Thank you so very much.
Please, can we put our hands together once again for the Permanent Secretary, Auditor General for Local Governments, Mr. Okpeyemi Musa Ogunlana, FCE. Obafemi, thank you very much. Now, I'd like to let you know that I have a new title. So I'm not just an MRS, which is Mrs. My name is Busola Kukoyi, SCA. You want to find out what the SCA stands for? That will be after the goodwill message by the Chairman, Local Government Service Commission. Please welcome with me, Honorable Kamal Ayinde Bayewu. I can't hear your applause. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Governor, represented by General, and I'd like to stand on the existing protocol. Well, as a professional myself, I'm being guided by the ethics of the profession. I'm an FCIB, an ACFE. But then, most times when I see public sector professionals, are we being guided? Excuse me, sorry. Are we being guided by the ethics of our profession? Sometimes as an employer, I sit down, I see some reports, and I say, can this person be an accountant? Must this be found, or must this be seen from an accountant? Me as an individual, I'm being driven by two things. One, my profession. If my certificate is being withdrawn today, where will I be? What can I do? And that's what is driving me, really. But is that what is driving you as an accountant? And that's what I want all of us to take home today. That whatever we do, somebody's looking at you. Somebody's checking you. Somebody is looking at, yes, this person is a professional accountant.
Is he acting true to that profession? Thank you. God bless you.
A word, indeed, a word is enough for the wise, and gathered in this hall are very wise men and women. Can we please applaud Honorable Kamal Ainde Bayo once again? Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a few weeks ago, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, stated that he trusts accountants in this great state. He was being given an award of honor by a body of accountants. At that event, he was eulogized as a governor that is not just prudent, but a governor that is committed to increasing the IGR of his state, not at the cost of the blood of the ordinary Lagosian, but indeed with a human face. And this man has continued to demonstrate that in every ramification: improving healthcare delivery, improving education, improving infrastructure across board. Who would have thought that a Lekki Ajah will not be the first option for the rehabilitation of roads and reconstruction of roads by this administration? It tells you that the ordinary Lagosian is on the front burner where this administration is concerned. And I quote, "We are in a position where we need to continue to hold ourselves accountable and hold ourselves answerable to the voting public that elected us into office." I'm sure you know that the bulk of the votes do not come from Banana Island. Get to Ajegunle, get to Agege. I don't know, Honorable Kamal Bayo knows the area, because he once represented that area very, very well. But the truth be told, accountability is the watchword of this administration. And that is why he will never put accountants under the table. You're always on the table, and you're always very important. To this gentleman who will be giving a keynote address at this event, please welcome with me very resoundingly. We call him the governor of all governors, the Okolomo of Governors Forum. This man speaks and all others sit up. Little wonder the Generalissimo himself, Wike, could not hold it back. He had to ask him to come to Port Harcourt. Come, we must copy Lagos. Please welcome the governor of Lagos State, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary, Accountant General, Dr. Muritala Abiodun, FCA. Can I hear your applause? Please keep applauding, keep applauding, keep applauding, keep applauding. Keep applauding.
Thank you so much. May please be seated. The president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Malam Tijani Musa, ably represented by my friend, Chief DCS Alaribi. The past president of ICANN, Alhaji Razak Jayola, you're welcome, sir. The chairman of the Local Government Service Commission, you're also welcome. My colleagues, permanent secretaries on the top table, retired and still serving. The past chairman of this chapter, and dear colleagues accountants, we have a lot to do. This world is faced by turbulence. This world, businesses and governance in the world is faced by uncertainty.
is faced by volatility, is faced by complexity, and also faced by ambiguity. You realize that if you look at our budget for this year, it is predicated on about 300 naira per liter for price of diesel. Today, it is over 800 naira. Contracts that were conceived, that were awarded at the beginning of this year will be subjected to variation. There is no doubt about it. I know that the state government came up with a lot of initiatives in the various sectors. For some of us who listened to my lecture about 4 weeks ago on the concept of VUCA, which stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. I also came up with another VUCA to address it, which is vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. But again, I know that the man who is coming today to address us on blockchain is just not the naira, it's not just the currency. It entails a lot of things. And I know Alhaji will do a lot in that area. Yeah, will educate us. Busola said, you must listen and take a lot away from here. Please, I am advising that we must listen and take a lot from here. Maybe for those of us who don't even read, one thing for you as accountant that you must embrace is that you must seek for knowledge every day. There's a quote by William Pollard that the arrogance of success is to believe that the knowledge you gained yesterday will be sufficient for tomorrow. That is what is responsible for my quest in seeking knowledge every day. I'm still doing courses. I'm advising that all of us should begin to read and read and read and read more. Blockchain is the way out, is the way forward, is the new normal. A lot of initiatives, like I said, were brought during the period of COVID. We have a co-telemed. Co-telemed has to do with the fact that if you leave, you don't need to leave the comfort of your home to get a doctor attend to you. So the plan now should be to institutionalize it, come with deliberate policy to drive all these things. In the area of education, we're doing virtual training. Students of LASU were not home throughout. They were taking training during the period. Also, in the area of governance, specifically in my own office of the Accountant General, you know, during that period, if we don't pay money, we won't record the success we recorded today. Yet we still follow processes. When we get approval today, payment must be made by the next day and vouchers will be raised. Vote of charge will be given. The public procurement man will give his procurement clearance. How did he do it? All those processes are things that we are planning to institutionalize so that we reduce the turnaround time for payment vouchers. Anyway, I won't bore you with all this, my English. I'll leave the lecture for Alhaji, who is an expert, and I'm sure by the end of the day, we'll all leave here with something good. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best.
I honestly did not want him to stop. I thought he would give us the expo of that process that they went through and helped the state to achieve the success. Please once again applaud with me the PSAG, Dr. Abiodun Muritala, FCA. Thank you very much. Mr. Governor, ably represented, all courtesies duly extended. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we're going straight to the lecture because The representative of Mr. Governor has set a tempo so that we do not douse it. Let us go ahead and listen to this presentation. The paper presenter who will be stepping forward at this point in time, I don't know much about him because somebody is going to tell us in-depthly who the paper presenter is. Please welcome with me Alhaji Razak Jayola, ACFE, FCA, even as Mrs. Florence Akishola, FCA, will be giving his citation. Can we keep applauding? Can we please keep applauding until he gets here? And now we'll take his citation by Mrs. Florence Akishola.
Mr. Governor, sir, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary, Accountant General, Dr. Abiodun Muritala, FCA. Please allow me to stand on existing protocols as I read the citation of Alhaji Razak Jayola. Alhaji Razak Jayola is the chief consultant of AJ Silicon, as well as the managing partner of Razak Jayola & Co. Is a past president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, in the year 2018 and 2019. He was a member of the Council of the International Federation of Accountants, IFAC, and currently a member of the Professional Accountancy Organization Development Advisory Group, IFAC. He was a former council member of Pan-African Federation of Accountants, PAFA, accounting bodies in West Africa, ABWA, Association of Professional Bodies in Nigeria, as well as the former treasurer of accounting bodies in the West Africa, ABWA. Is a member of the Institute of Software Practitioner of Nigeria, Information System Audit and Control Association, ISACA, Association of Certified Fraud Examiner, ACFE, and is certified in Risk and Information System Control. He has consulted widely, locally, internationally for World Bank, IFAC, Lagos state governments, federal governments, as well as private sectors. He is happily married with children, 4 of whom are qualified accountants as well. Two are fellows of the Institute, and 4 are certified information system auditors with several IT certifications. Allow me to present to you our dear Alhaji Razak Jayola, FCA, BSc, RISCA, ACFE. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Our action governor, the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by my good friend and brother. Please permit me to recognize only my president, and let me stand on other existing protocols. I feel highly honored. The presentation. I feel highly honored to be invited to deliver this presentation. And I know too well that it's not because I'm the best on the subject matter, but out of love, I very much appreciate it. I've also been part of this annual event in the past, and I hold it in very, very high esteem. Please give a round of applause to everybody. I salute the past leadership. You've laid a very, very solid foundation, and I pray that the chapter will continue to grow. Subject this afternoon is blockchain technology, financial dynamics for economic growth and development. What is the genesis of this subject we are considering this afternoon? My presentation outline is there, starting with an introduction, go into what is blockchain technology, the impact on economic growth, adoption in government and public sector, blockchain and SMEs of the future. Wow. Transformation of financial services was a need for us as accountants, job opportunities, and conclusion. Since the internet was developed in the 70s, but it didn't go into commercials until the 1990s. We have been able to exchange information at very, very incredible speed. And we've been able to do a lot of things. But one thing that has been very, very much remarkable, which was not taken into consideration in the initial design and implementation of the internet, was issue of trust. When you are transacting business between individuals or amongst various people, the people at the other end, take for instance, bank transfer. Somebody at the other end, how will you be sure of the person that is there? We are all living witnesses of the kind of things that could happen, you know? So, is the host real? Is the person you are exchanging money with who they really say they are? Does the digital information you are holding about something match the physical reality of what is over there? Does the information you may have about the entity or the transaction on an asset consistently be recorded in the same way across the various platforms? So while trying to transfer through banks, for instance, there are issues: high international transfer costs, a lot of documentations. You have banks. Okay, banks are not always accessible. It's not a 24/7 affair. There may be bank holidays. They use centralized servers, and we all know that servers could be hacked. They capture our data, not just preventing us from monetizing it, but often undermining our privacy. They are sometimes unreliable and often slow. They exclude 2 billion people worldwide who don't have enough money to open or justify a bank account. Wale is not in the hall. Ayo. Yeah, next slide. Okay, next slide. So, all those preliminaries that I've just said are the issues that led to introduction of blockchain. It is an attempt to resolve all those issues. That is the genesis of blockchain. So, what is blockchain? Go back. Blockchain is a shared, decentralized, distributed, immutable ledger that facilitates the process of recording transactions and tracking assets in a business network. I repeat, it's a shared. When you say shared, it means that all the people on the network will have copies. Exactly the same thing. It is decentralized and distributed. Immutable ledger, that is, you cannot change it. Whatever that is put there, nobody can change it. That facilitates the process of recording transactions and tracking assets in a business network. Now, how does it work? A wants to send money to B. So the transaction is represented online by what we call a block. The block is to broadcast to every party in the network by people that we refer to as miners. They do the validation before such transactions are sent to everybody. Those in the network approve the transactions as valid. So by consensus, they will first approve before they accept. The block then can be added to the chain, which provides an indelible and transparent record of transactions. The money then moves to to B. Oh yeah. Now, this is just an architecture, a high level one of what we are talking about. You start with what we call block 0. Block 0 is the commencement and is usually referred to as Genesis block. Goes to block 1, block 2, block 3. The last is usually referred to as block N. So what's a block? A block is a spreadsheet containing details of transaction data. So the details of the data, block O, you have it there, and so on and so forth. Blockchain, series of blocks, just like we have here. So that is a chain. By design, a blockchain updates itself periodically, usually every 10 minutes. For a block to be added, majority of the nodes must approve the transactions. Once updated, it can no longer be changed. So that's one of the attributes that is being made use of commercially. The node, a device on a blockchain network. Each node keeps a copy of the blockchain. Hash, a unique string of numbers and letters generated for each transaction via a cryptographic algorithm. Every block contains the hash of the previous transaction, thus ensuring chronological order of the ledger and limiting chances of alteration. You have block 0, and block 1 is trying to come in. A hash will be generated, which is a kind of algorithm that captures details of what is in block O before that of block 1 is generated. So that block 1 will have the totality of details of what is in block O. The same thing when you are going to block 2. A hash will be generated by block 2, and it will capture the previous ones, such that by the time you go right across the entire chain, everybody has copies of everything. So there's no way anybody in the chain can change anything, because it will require the person having to redo it, even if there is a mistake. It means that it will go through the cycle again, and various areas will have to be done. Next one. So why blockchain? Recall my preambles when I started. For transparency, I recorded in a shared ledger, updated and accepted by all participants, that is the nodes in the blockchain. This eliminates the need for intermediaries who keep separate ledgers that need to be reconciled and vetted periodically. Because of this transparency, because everybody has all the details, so it's not possible for anybody tomorrow to now say he's changing anything. Everybody already has those details, you know. It is multifunctional. The technology is not limited to finance. It can be leveraged in several industries, as I will let you know later, you know, education, supply chain, and so on and so forth. The cost is low. Remember, there are no intermediaries. When you are doing international transfers, you usually will go through a corresponding bank, Abi, and those ones will necessarily obtain their own commission and so on. This one cuts off all such intermediaries. And because everybody has details, there's nothing like you want to reconcile, there's nothing to reconcile anyway, because everybody has details, everybody knows the genesis of every transaction in the chain. You know, security. Blockchains adopt best-in-class encryption algorithm, what is usually referred to as public key infrastructure. The best of the best. You move from A to B, there has to be confidentiality, there has to be integrity, there has to be authentication, there has to be non-repudiation. Everything is observed before any transaction is accepted. So all transactions in the network, they are just there. So what are the key characteristics? Consensus. For a transaction to be valid, all parties to transactions must agree on validity. Provenance. All participants know where the asset came from and how ownership has changed over time. You can imagine all the land in Lagos State to be backed up with blockchain. You know, issue of Omuniles will disappear completely, isn't it? Because right there in your room or office, you have access to all the details of land transactions. You know, so a lot of things that you normally will have to worry about. You want to go and conduct a search. You know, everything, all the information are already there. You know, immutability. No participant can tamper with transactions after it has been recorded. If a transaction was erroneously entered, a new one must be created to reverse the error. The erroneous and new transactions are visible to all participants. Finality. A single shared ledger remains the source of truth to determine ownership of an asset or completion of a transaction. All parties in the blockchain keeps a copy of all historical transactions that have been added to the ledger, limiting chances of tampering. Next slide. So distributed ledger technology, you know, this is the way it looks. Those are the various blocks cutting across different organizations spread over many countries and so on and so forth. Next slide. Now, this is an example. Take, for instance, is deployed in tracking vehicle ownership. So in the first section, we have demonstrated there how vehicles are tracked under the normal. Yeah, open the laptop. Okay. So here, you have the. So without blockchain, what normally happens? You have here the manufacturer of vehicles, keeping his own records. The dealer also keeps his records. If there's any ownership transfer from a leasing company, he also keeps his entire records. The lessee keeps his record, and the scrap merchant also keeps his record. Of course, the regulator also keeps in touch. That is without blockchain. What happens in blockchain? It starts from here. The regulator stroke manufacturer. And he keeps his record under a shared facility that is available to all. The dealer also have his own, and before it is linked, you know, the miners will have to do their validation, and there has to be hash that will be generated, and so on and so forth. So it also moves to the leasing company. So everybody with this shared facility here that is available to everybody. So that's an example of how it is done. Next slide. So when does it make sense to leverage blockchain? Blockchain can offer a compelling solution when data is fragmented, when multiple writers exist, when trust is absent, security is absent. Those are the considerations for blockchain. So, therefore, blockchain adoption can yield the following benefits: reconciliation, elimination, standardization and harmonization, automation, like smart contracts, which I will explain later, and reduce systemic risk. Yes, next slide. Blockchain and for everyone, and they and for every solution. There's a 5-point test that you can adopt. Are there multiple parties in the ecosystem? Blockchain are more secure with blockchains are more secured with more parties in the network. Single participant networks are not especially secure if it's just single participants. But when you have multiples, that's when it is best. It's establishing trust between all of the parties an issue. Blockchain improves trust between participants by providing multiple points of verification. Is it critical to have a tamper-proof permanent record of transactions? Blockchains create permanent records that cannot be edited or deleted. At securing the ownership or management of a finite resource, core logic in the system is designed to prevent double counting of assets and record of ownership. Does the ecosystem benefit from improved transparency? Blockchains are transparent. Ownership or control of assets is public and transparent by design. Next slide. Impact on economic growth. I spent quite some time for us to really be able to digest and follow, because as accountants, this is an area we should pay special attention. You know, we have setters, isn't it? And Lagos State is also pace setter, not only in Nigeria, Abi, in the totality of Africa. So when something that is very, very fundamental to economic growth like this is something accountants should take very, very seriously. I'm sure with what I've explained so far, it is not a big, is it? It's not a big deal. So laying a foundation today, you know how you want to chart your way forward. Okay? So I'm going to start moving fast from now. Next slide. Mitigating government corruption. Land registry. Land registry leveraging blockchain can potentially provide a publicly verifiable, secure, and tamper-proof record system, which will limit corruption and land grabbing activities. You can see if the various records are publicly available. What's the problem? You know, corporate ownership registries. The Panama Papers revealed several shell corporations owned by high-ranking government officials. Using blockchain, it will be easier to limit chances of undisclosed beneficial corporate ownership. Public procurement. Using smart contracts. Blockchain can facilitate enhanced third-party oversight, transparency, accountability, and belief, and better objective procurement. What are smart contracts? You open a letter of credit. You want to buy from company B across to some other countries. And the guy wants to supply. Before you make payment, you want to be sure that it's going to the right quarters, isn't it? So what do you normally do? There will have to be a third party. So the smart contract, what it normally does is to program such that company B, you are not making use of any third party, don't forget. So the transaction will be programmed in such a way that except when the company B receive the goods, the program will be done in such a way that except you receive your money, the guy will not receive the goods. Is that clear? So without making use of any third party, when the guy receives the goods, he makes payment, that is the only time the guy will receive the fund. That is smart contract. That's not where we are. Bring the laptop, bring the laptop. Why don't you connect my laptop? Connect my laptop. While we are waiting, let me continue like this. When we get to this section I want to be reading now, we will skip them, okay? So possible areas of intervention in government: voting on the blockchain, preventing fraud increasing access. The blockchain is an ideal technology to end the polarized debate over the prevalence of voter fraud. It will also insulate election processes from potential foreign intervention. The ability to vote on the internet from home using blockchain technology will likely lead to greater participation thanks to greater convenience. Once those things that you cannot change is infused into the system, you know, cannot change. Like asking some people to come and vote in place of others, you know, changing figures and so on and so forth. It's not possible with blockchain. The immutable blockchain record can easily flag redundancies and the unique personal identifiers to individuals to ensure that voters who they say they are that they are eligible to vote. National digital currencies. In 2015, Ecuador became the first nation to launch cryptocurrency. And since then, at least 13 countries have either launched their own cryptocurrency or hinted that they are planning to do so. Most nations likely see the benefits of their own cryptocurrency as a form of profit and investment, a means of greater oversight and control over population finances. The potential to monitor criminality, lower costs from eschewing the printing of physical money, easier taxation, and move away from inflation-vulnerable fiat currencies. Tunisia, Senegal, Venezuela, and the Marshall Islands have all issued digital currencies, including Nigeria. A lot of us are aware that the CBN tried to launch e-Naira. It was not too successful because there are some issues that they are trying to battle with. This is not to say that some people are not using it. It's being used as we speak, but it's not as popular as it was designed to do. Just like the kind of problems that they have when they were launching the teller machines, the debit cards, and so on and so forth. You recall that initially it didn't quite go well. A lot of people were afraid and so on and so forth. So they are planning a relaunch during which a lot of those problems will be taken care of. Customs and border patrol. Nations face greater issues in customs, with most inefficient and corrupt nation custom officials slowing national activity. So you can see in the borders, if blockchain has been introduced and all the papers that were filed and sent from abroad is already there, you know, from the suppliers, they will be in the blockchain, isn't it? You know, all stakeholders will be there on the blockchain. So it's not a question of putting something in a container and declaring something else. No way. So this is one of the areas that it can be tackled. Transparent budgeting. While there will always be some measure of waste, the blockchain can replace many of the middlemen who combine result in sky-high budgets and massive inefficiency. A clear record of who conceived, voted for, you know, in the National Assembly at the moment. You don't know how our representatives are voting. You just hear some people voted for, some people voted against and all that. Blockchain is introduced. Everybody, you'll be able to see a lot of that. Secure data entry. until technologies such as blockchain, which has multi-layer security and real-time detection of potential breaches, is employed to protect the most sensitive data that a government holds, faith by data entrants and government employees is not warranted. Considering that it's not just social security numbers, but the identities of spies and undercover operatives that the government is tasked with keeping safe. Replacing paper-based systems. You know, in some ministries, they have some rooms where they keep their paper, the archives, bundles of papers and so on and so forth. If everything is, if blockchain is introduced, you know, the amount of paper. Okay, thank you. Okay. So public procurement, I think I've dealt with that. I've explained smart contracts. Okay, blockchain and SMEs of the future. Next slide. Insights on future readiness of SMEs for blockchain. It's important that our SMEs are really ready for blockchain. It's a platform for designing financial services to bridge many gaps in today's virtual market system. While traditional databases track records for single entries only, blockchain connects a group of entities and allows for data to be synchronized across multiple independent stakeholders. Blockchain usage is particularly alluring for small businesses. It provides them with an affordable and efficient avenue to make and receive payments, access investment, and you know, once everybody is in blockchain, it is so easy. You know, today when I going to our Okeani market, people are even afraid that you do bank transfer or whatever. But if everybody is in a blockchain, they know you cannot tell lies. You know, there's no way. Next slide. SMEs represent around 90% of all firms globally, contributing to roughly 70% of employment. At an average level, these businesses play significant roles in enabling, constraining, and shaping the nature of growth, innovation, and sustainability, and so on. Next slide. Now, how blockchain technology is helping SMEs, illustrated by a hypothetical case of Aminu, Nigerian trader, connecting small-scale businesses to Clover. So we are talking of one Aminu here, you know, that sees the opportunity of online business to connect people in other countries. And they decide to be settling through cryptocurrency, you know. So they are already benefiting from it. Next slide. So please find time to go through the entire thing because I made it very, very detailed. Blockchain solutions save costs while simplifying payments. Next slide. Flexible entrepreneurs for a digital future. Thanks to blockchain technology and digital financial services, a gap has been filled for Aminu and other SMBs. Next slide. Blockchain and GDP. According to World Economic Forum, at least 10% of the global GDP is being stored on blockchain platforms. Early adopters of the blockchain technology is currently dominating the global landscape. Countries like US, China are dominating the blockchain industry globally. Next slide. So you can see financial services, the way it is being introduced in financial services industry. Take for instance, authenticating identity and value. How is it used? Verification and robust identities, keep cryptographic and secured. So the various uses and what you get, the various attributes of blockchain and what you get when you deploy them. Please find time to go through them. They are all explained here and it's very, very clear. Next slide. Blockchain adoption in government sector. Next. Yeah. So I've discussed voting, national customs, transparent budgeting, and so on. Next slide. Voting on blockchain, I've taken that. National digital currencies, yes. Next slide. Custom border patrol, transparent budgeting, next. Secure data entry until a technology such as the blockchain, which has multi-layer security and real-time detection of potential breaches, is employed to protect the most sensitive data that the government holds. Failed by data entrance government employees is not warranted. Replacing paper-based systems. I've taken that. Next slide. Interagency data management. You know the problem we undergo these days. If you are trying to do something with government and it involves several agencies, you can be sure it will take you months, isn't it? But if all those stakeholders, those agencies, they are all in a blockchain, in the comfort of your room or whatever, you will see all this. Combating corruption, this is there. But there's hope that blockchain will allow citizens to oversee government spending records, file and view specific complaints of corruption, and so on. Next slide. Improving shared services models. So many businesses consolidate facets of IT, HR, accounting, payroll, security, and compliance. Though other facets of an organization can also be included because there's a measure of overlap between these. Fittingly, the blockchain has viable uses in each of these fields, and so it serves as a logical basis for integrating and elevating shared services. Next slide. What's the need for us as accountants? Yes. Reduction in fraudulent activities. By leveraging blockchain, accountants can ensure that systems of controls are put in place to reduce chances of fraud. And you have bridge between technology and business. Blockchain has come to stay. Being a ledger-based system, accountants are in unique position to serve as bridge between technology and business. Improved efficiency and productivity and upskilling. The only constant thing in life is change. By leveraging blockchain, accountants can upskill and become more relevant in the dynamic world of disruptive technologies. Yes. So consideration to accounting and finance. Reconciliation. Like I said before, you cannot be talking of reconciliation. Distributed ledgers provide innovative solutions to achieve real time. New transactions, new judgments, e.g. ICOs, cryptocurrency tokens, requiring new support to achieve consistency. Integration of markets. Distributed ledgers create new interdependency between network participants. Next slide. So consideration to assurance and audit. Timing of review. Real-time visibility and access to transaction changes the timing of when transaction audit and assurance can be provided to markets. So you may not need to wait until this periodical something, the annual and all that, because the records are available online anytime and you are good to go. Scope and nature of work. Transactions recorded on a blockchain enable assurance providers access to live data, populations to agronomically target population risk, and so on. Recipients of assurance, blockchain participants will become directly influenced by assurance provided to other participants access transactions and processes. That is, through the blockchain, even those things that are not normally available to the auditor, through the blockchain, those transactions that the organization is dealing with and all that, easy and quiet, it has those information. Yes, new financial and accounting skills, communication, interdependency of markets and transactions require accountants and finance professionals to coordinate effectively resolving disputes and achieving consensus. Cyber risk, a lot of these things are over the internet. So cyber security issues will come on screen and we need to upskill ourselves. Computer science, smart contracts require a new way of accountants and finance professionals collaborating with computer developers. When you are developing the smart contracts, you know the details of the business transactions and so on. So you need to collaborate so that you'll be able to jointly bring up agility. New business models and timing of transaction services require more agility to enable benefits to introduces fraudulent activities. We mentioned that, yes, gives accountants back their time. We sink a lot of time trying to do detailed work and so on and so forth. Once a lot of these things are already available, no problem. Yes, it builds trust. The activities of miners having to secure, to ensure that everything is secure before the blast to the blockchain. Everybody in the blockchain, they are all living, provides an opportunity for upskilling. I've talked about that. Has a knock-on effect on business models. Business models. There are certain models that we practice at the moment. Because blockchain is being introduced, you will have to realign some of them, and you come up with a lot of innovations. Yes? Open doors for new customers. You have your traditional clients, But because some people will not move on time, the early comers, they will have an advantage, and you will be able to move, to be able to penetrate other clients. And some will have written off themselves. They say they are too old. They cannot read the Abi. So, yes, gives accountants the opportunity to set the pace. Like I said earlier on, let us quickly arm ourselves with knowledge and skill to be able to go into these areas. Yes? Yes. To facilitate transactions, a set of rules called smart contract. I've explained that. While there remains a general assumption that blockchain technology is still in its early stages, blockchain is still in its early stages, but a lot of organizations are already embracing it. Today, the rise of reliable software for holding digital assets and with multiple blockchains and smart contracts have made it easier than ever for enterprises to operate this new world. Yes, advantages and challenges of using blockchain, universal. Potential advantages, negates the need for trust. That is, it is an environment you can rely on as trustworthy. Immutability, it cannot be changed or amended. The records, there are transparency, traceability, synchronization, pseudo-anonymity. But what are the challenges? Issues bordering on privacy, resiliency, governance, pseudo-anonymity. International payment, facilitate faster and cheaper payments, liquidity constraints, identity enables user-centric ID models. Land registry reduces the risks and the aid disbursement. Next slide. Next slide. Job opportunities. In 2020, how many of us belong to LinkedIn? Raise up your hand. LinkedIn, 5%. Okay, 10%. That's very good. There are 660 million professionals on LinkedIn. 660 million. In the year 2020, people who got better jobs through LinkedIn, they are 20 million. 20 million. Just put your profile on your page. That is all it requires. And you'll be receiving offers. You know? So, when those employments generated, when they were analyzed, they found that these are the top ones that are in demand. You see, I have a case of one chap that first read a Greek. He went back after completing them. He went back to do computer science. Then he came to AJ Silicon, spent 2 years with us, and one of the Big Four snatched him. After being there for about 3 months, he came back and he had already even paid for the Caesar program before I saw his name. I said, this guy has come for this year and not the rest. So I asked them to refund his money. I said, you are still part of us now, though you left us. You left us for better something, and so on and so forth. Yours sincerely, within 2 years, came back again one day. He was going abroad. I said, what happened? He said, they have secured another employment. What was your rate? Before God and man, he was earning 30 million. 30 million in the Big Four. Here in Nigeria, he has secured another one abroad. So how do we compare the two? Now you know the Naira something now, you know, that is more than double. More than double. What does it take for you to sit down and improve on your skill and just blast it over the internet? What does it take for you to improve on your skill and use it to develop the organization you are? Even remaining where you are, there's a lot of things that can happen. Accountants have the ears of government, isn't it? You have access to them. They will listen to you. You are tackling budgets. You are bringing in fresh ideas from the skills that you have developed. No professional can bamboozle you, Abi. So please, it is very important. Look at the areas. Next slide. Job landscape. Those are the soft skills, as they said. Job landscape. The Economic Forum, the World Economic Forum, projected by, that was in 2018, that by this year, 2022, 133 million jobs will be generated. The jobs that will no longer be in demand is 75 million. So leaving a gap of about 58 million. Some people are going under the impression that because systems are being computerized, less and less people will not be able to get employment and so on and so forth. But the truth of the matter is that you have to move. from those jobs that are no longer very adequate to new ones. And you have a lot of areas to go. Yes. Conclusion. Blockchain technology has exploded into the fintech ecosystem and various industries over the last few years, evolving well beyond the boost of Bitcoin, already incorporated into a range of businesses and financial applications. Its impact and use cases continue to improve as the technology matures. For most industries, blockchain presents opportunities around increased transparency, efficiency, and innovations. At its core, blockchain is an accounting technology, an immutable ledger that tracks the transfer of ownership of assets, and as such, is poised to play a significant role in audit, tax, cybersecurity, accounting, and advisory services. The more to a financial system with significant blockchain element offers the move to a financial system with significant blockchain elements offers many opportunities for the accountancy profession. Accountants are seen as experts in record keeping, application of complex rules, business logic, and standard setting. They have the opportunity to guide and influence how blockchain is embedded and used in the future, and to develop blockchain-led solutions and services. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to commend the chapter for picking on this particular topic at this very, very point in time. Because of the importance of blockchain, for the third time, within a few months, ICANN on air, where is our anchor? My respected chair of Ikeja and District Society featured a lady, just some days ago on Thursday, on Thursday, very fantastic. So if you have not been patronizing, watching ICANN on air, you are missing a lot. I don't miss it all. Eh? Don't say you are too old. Are you older than me? Eh? So please. So please, let's take it seriously. And let's make representations to government for ways by which this thing can be packaged and so on. Be the first setter. And God bless you all. Thank you.
I honestly thought we would have given him a standing ovation for a detailed lecture that we did not pay for. We thank you very much, former ICANN president, and indeed our facilitator, Alhaji Razak Jayola. Another round of applause for him, even as he returns to his seat. Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Alhaji Razak Jayola is still here with us, and indeed he will entertain 4 questions, and we'll take the 5th one from the high table, if there is any. 4 questions. So if you have a question, please come and have the second mic. Thank you. Okay. Pastor Chris is number 1. Any other? LIRS 2, number 3, and the 4th. We'll come. The high table is special. I'm talking about the floor now. So we have 3 questions. We start from Pastor Chris, the LIRS representative, and the gentleman, and the high table will take their turn. Thank you very much, sir. The Pastor Chris is at the back. Please, let's just have our name, where we represent, and just go straight to your question, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the knowledge passed across. But my own question is this. Now, the lecturer has given us the idea that if we give a fresh ideas, that we can pass it across. What if the idea being given was not being recognized, neither will, for example, now the UTAD are given by the lecturers of the university as the ASU, and they travel abroad to go and make the research and brought back this particular issue. And now the federal government, even though set organization over it, and they rejected it. What should we do?
Thank you very much, Pastor Chris. Please, can you bring the microphone to the front? LIRS wants to know how we will do it with taxation.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rashid Olu Ajayi. I want to say the lecture was quite insightful, very knowledgeable, and very comprehensible. So I give the past presidents kudos. I'm not an I'm not an accountant in any way, but an IT professional. And I don't think I would have done any better in that presentation. If I could also add that Alhaji Razak would, by his comments, would have also added to the Japa syndrome that is currently going on in the country with his LinkedIn, narratives. Now, although he did say something about assurance of data, I want to also beg to probably maybe he can put more insights on the lack of availability of data in blockchain management, because data is key, is very successful to blockchain, project. Secondly, I want him to also tell us if there's going to be any sort of data repository, because when you have a blockchain, obviously there's going to be some data that would need to be analyzed from that. And if there's a data repository for that, then that would also help in blockchain management. Thank you.
Thank you. And the third question? Second, yes.
Yeah, thank you, our PP. My name is Adebola. I work at the local government. My questions, I want to ask, is this blockchain a software that can be acquired off the shelf like Excel? And secondly, what of the backup? How do we back up this data, sir?
And please, can we take the microphone to the top table? Thank you very much. As the representative of the Auditor General's office.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm not surprised that Alhaji Razak Jayola will give that kind of presentation. I've known him to be a teacher, and he is indeed a teacher. So thank you, sir, and thank you very much. Now, my question is this. I am bothered about confidentiality. Sir? Okay, I'm bothered about confidentiality. So confidentiality in blockchain, though he mentioned while he was doing his presentation that there will be confidentiality, but looking at it under the financial, that everybody will be having information within the network. So to that extent, I am thinking that confidentiality might be impaired to some extent. That is one. And then using it in government establishment, data are classified into various, we have secret, top secret, confidentiality, and so on like that. So I want to say, how does confidentiality comes in? Because it's so paramount and very important to us in the public sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Do we have any other question from the high table? Please, can we have the microphone to Alhaji Jayola to please address these questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the questions. Pastor Chris, what will you do? Sorry, what's the question again? Okay. If you bring ideas and it is rejected, Abby, that is very, very much normal in the Nigerian parlance, you know. But just as some people are rejecting, some are receptive, isn't it? Particularly in the private sector. And you see, even in government, if you see any government doing very, very well, I mean, the governor is not a repository of all ideas, isn't it? It means they are receptive to good ideas. They want to perform, you know. So I don't see that as a problem. It is something that what I will find is level. You know, if you are in a government that they are not receiving ideas and so on, under normal circumstances, they will not get re-elected, and so on and so forth. So I don't think that's a big issue. Rashid Olu Ajayi, lack of availability of data, experience such problems. But as various organizations, you know, the private sector, you know, once they develop their proposal and not the rest, and they want to make use of the advantages in it and not the rest, they go full length to package whatever that is required for the implementation. Now, how are these things being done in other climes? People will be sent abroad to study how they gather their data and so on and so forth. So I believe that one also. Data repository, yes. Anytime it is available, why not? You know, and the Department of Statistics and so on, there are various agencies that are into this. And once the policies is rolled out, want this, we want this, we want this, people will begin right from registration of birth. You know, at local government level, you know, the local government will be involved, isn't it? And everybody will roll out. Once the government buys into the idea, you can be sure within no time, things will begin to roll, particularly because in these days of no money, and suggestions are coming forward as to how to reduce costs substantially. You know how much it is costing you to transact business through the banks now, for instance. And here is a system that is bypassing all those bureaucracy and so on and so forth. Everybody will jump at it once the public key infrastructure, as my there said, there are no open source software at the moment that is available. You pick and choose. You know, that is my experience is very, very, very much limited in this arena, you know, and I must tell you that the extent to which I have gone within these few weeks that was asked to come and deliver this paper in terms of knowledge. In fact, I should be very, very grateful for inviting me to come and deliver this paper. Honestly, you know, now I see a lot of opportunities. Full length. You know, when IFRS came, and AJ Silicon rolled out, who are saying, Shebi, it's an IT company, and they've forgotten that I'm first and foremost an accountant, you know, and before you know it, we became leaders of the trainers in it and all the rest. So for blockchain, please watch out, you will see. Yeah? So you are talking about backup. You see, blockchain is a very, very comprehensive package. Very, very comprehensive, you know. So go into whatever area that is required. People have done it. A lot of organizations have rolled out. You know, the World Economic Forum, so already said 10% of GDP. That is what it is capturing already in US, in China, and so on and so forth. So what are we waiting for here? You know? Issue of confidentiality. There's secret, there's top secret, and all the rest. For as long as it has to do with transactions, you know, it will no longer be a case of somebody doing a project of 20 million and it's being done for 500 million. Abi? Because all the facts are available to the various stakeholders. It will be verified. Everything, the critical stakeholders are within the blockchain. You know, so information is readily available to everybody, you know. So once the profit margin is getting more than normal, you know, and in any case, the miners will reject it. They will not allow it pass through, you know. So there is systems designed to take care of all that, you know. Look at healthcare system. If it's under blockchain, for instance, it's not a case of Mr. A having an accident in Badagry, he's resident in Lekki. Just goes to the hospital there. What is your name? Papa. They have all your medical details right there and then. And they know how to treat you. You know, so there are so many advantages to it. You know, so God bless you.
Can we please applaud Alhaji Razak Jayola, FCA, once again. Thank you very much, sir. And we're actually looking out because AJ Silicon, already a leader, you know, go carry last, even where blockchain is concerned. Please, can we applaud him once again? And I want to let you know that in this hall this afternoon, she's been here all day, I would say, is one of the founding, should I say fathers, but she's a woman, of this, all of the above. Let's just leave it at that. You know, father, mother, all rolled in one individual of this great chapter. She was there at the beginning, and there is no time this chapter has any function that she is not physically present. And you know, God has been so gracious to her that whenever these good comes up, she's never down with a sickness or anything. You know, even if she travels out of the country, God makes it possible that the plane will land, even if it's just a day before. Please, I want to recognize very specially one of our founding members at the Lagos State Public Service chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. She embarrassed Mr. Governor a few minutes ago. As a Mr. Governor, I never knew that Mr. Governor could prostrate. And he just went, ah! Please put your hands together for Dr. Mrs. Babatunde. Thank you very much, Ma, for being here and being a pillar of support for this great chapter. Your wealth of experience remains indelible where we are concerned. We thank you very much. After the questions have been answered thoroughly at that, we will be having a special presentation, and that is going to be done by none other than the chairman of this chapter, Mr. John Olukayode Oyegunle, FCA. He will be making the presentations, and the presentations he will be having the presentation of gifts to the inductees, but he's just going to be a supporter of the main man who will be giving out this gifts. And that person is a man that I know and I can attest to that he's a giver. I was at his 70th birthday and it was a wow situation. People could not stop themselves. And, you know, I had a Herculean task holding the microphone and telling them no more remarks because he himself is a master giver. Little wonder he has been called upon to give out this gift to the inductees. Please welcome with me, Chairman, Lagos State Local Government Service Commission, Honorable Kamal Ayinde Baiwo. Once you say, you know, I want to recount a personal experience. My father had the unfortunate experience of announcing Nnamdi Azikiwe's death. Unfortunately, a few minutes after he announced the death, they sent word to him in the studio. He's not dead, though. The last people that announced that he died, they died before him. Oh. So we started praying that my father should not join. But since I announced that the man is 70, that means me to have become 70 and above. Please, can you put your hands together for Honorable Kamal Ayinde Baiwo and the first recipient? So you have to move to the middle. The chairman, please, is Riskat Salisu Thompson. He will be handing over the check. I don't want to tell you the amount so that you won't, the pastors in the house will not ask for tithe. Blood, don't worry. He can still ask for tithes and offering. And they will ask her to do zakat. Congratulations. Tijani Sadiq Abiodun is next. Please, just stay here so that you take a photograph with the chairman. Abiodun Tijani, please, can you be fast? Don't let's keep the chairman waiting. Olasumbo Oluwabumi Ade Bayo, please get ready. And next is Adegbenga Robert Folorunso. You know, this man is my uncle. We come from the same time. Actually, he's my brother's junior brother. So we share the check. Sheun Oketoyosi Okedairo. Yemisi Karimat Bolagade. Yemisi Karimat Bolagade. Lola Adebayo Ahmed. Lola Adebayo Ahmed. Ibrahim Abidemi Shogunle. Ibrahim Abidemi Shogunle. Thank you very much. Can we please all move to the center? And I'll invite the representative of the 58th President of ICANN to please join us in this all-important photograph, sir. Chief DCS Alaribe, FCA, Of course, our former president and paper presenter, Alhaji Razak Jayola, and the permanent secretary, Auditor General for Local Governments, Mr. Obafemi Musa Ogunlano.
Hey! Don't sleep, don't sleep. Wake up. Collect your money, collect your money. Speak, wake up. Collect your money, collect your money.
Congratulations. Yes, the inductees, just flush to the left and to the right so that the former president can be there with the PSAG. Thank you. Okay. Can we turn off the screen or shut it down briefly so that there won't be a reflection? Or the projector. Okay, okay. Aha, thank you. You know, technology cannot be more brilliant than humans. Thank you very much. Can we put our hands together? I'd like to let us know that two of these inductees, Mr. Robert and Mr. Shogunle, they are both directors in the Office of the Auditor General from for local governments. We thank you very much. But more importantly, they crossed from ANAN to ICANN. Can we put our hands together for them? I'd like to recognize and welcome Mrs. Titilayo Shosoya, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industry and Cooperatives, and also Permanent Secretary, Central Audit, Internal Audit Office. Please, can you applaud this woman? Though she's very petite, the power she wields is mighty. The woman that oversees, I've forgotten the FCA. Don't worry.
You don't cast.
Don't worry. I will learn.
Now everybody.
That's why I've been suffering since all these days. Like I need a new vehicle now because I've not been adding FCA. Whenever I greet my husband, I have not received it, but the Lord will do it. Please, can we applaud Mrs. Oshosoya, FCA. Thank you very much, the PSMA, for being here. And you are just in time to witness a very important aspect of today's event. And that is the investiture of the new chairman. The investiture of the new chairman. And indeed, to oversee this particular aspect, I'd like to invite very respectfully the representative of the 58th ICANN president, Malam Tijani Musa Isa, FCA. He is ably represented by the first deputy vice president, Chief DCS Alaribe, FCA. Please put your hands together for him as he comes forward for the investiture of the new chairman. And can I ask the outgoing chairman that I saved from the wrath of the women, Mr. John Olukayode Oyegule, FCA, and to please step forward. And the incoming, Mr. Taufik Adeyanju, FCA.
Thank you very much. Where's your wife? You did it. You see, there are assignments that cannot be assigned. Somebody asked me how. Can you ask somebody to do honeymoon on your behalf? It's an assignment that cannot be assigned. No matter how busy you are, you can't tell a friend, a brother to stand in for you or for a honeymoon because he will take over from there. My friend, next time, that's an assignment that cannot be assigned. Please, I have to invite my senior and my revived past president to come and join me. Alhaji Jayola, sir, please come. In ICANN, we respect hierarchy. Even madmen respect their seniors. So, you're welcome, sir. So in the village, you also see madmen during the market day. You see madmen, you also go in. When he sees a senior madman, he will respect him and move to the other side. I'm not saying you are mad, sir. Thank you very much. The chairman, he did not inform the membership. They are supposed to come with the lawyer and come with the oath of office, but we are going to improvise. Gibson, are you here? Do you have anything in the system like the oath of office? You don't have. Okay, no problem. We are going to improvise. But what we'll do is that next time, sir, that is for you now. You have to learn. In Igbo land, when they give birth to a child and the child dies, when the woman now becomes pregnant again and gives back to another child, they will name him Ozemela. Ozemela means let it not happen again. And the moment they say the child has come to the world, the father will pronounce Ozemela. I can assure you the child will not die. So the name you carry now will be Ozemela. Let it not happen. Okay, my revived past president, sir. So you will join me, sir. So on behalf of the 58th president, don't be in a hurry to remove it. Put it back. Don't be in a hurry. If I were you, I'll be planning to go and go to the toilet. Because if this man goes to the toilet now, this event will be prolonged. Okay, so how many years have you served? But the bylaw says 2 years. Okay. You decided that it has to be 1 year. Okay, since it's a general consensus, there's nothing we can do. We can't be more Catholic than the Pope. So it has to be the chapter. Okay, so my friend, what's your name?
Adeyanju Taufik.
Okay, Adeyanju Taufik.
Yes, sir.
Have they told you, have you learned from him what is required of this office? There's happiness in madness. Only a madman knows. So if you have known the level of madness this man has gone through, is it what you can cope with? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so on behalf of the 58th president of ICANN, Malam Tijani Musa Isa, it's okay, we'll do that. So the entire members of the institute and also the members of this chapter who has consented and whom you have served, they've now decided that it is time for you to step aside. Leaders are tenants to time. Anything you do in life, time is what will separate. So you have enjoyed the office. You want this our friend to move in. So my past presidents, please join me. Join us to the outgoing chair. Okay, my good friend. So So on behalf of the 58th president of ICANN, the council, the entire members of the institute, and in particular the members of the Lagos State chapter, you are now being invested as the chairman of the Lagos State chapter of the public sector. I wish you well, and may your tenure be peaceful, and you add value and move the chapter forward. Thank you very much.
Incoming and outgoing. Can we applaud them once again? Even as they take the picture, I request that the chairman, Local Government Service Commission, PS AG for local governments, and PS for commerce and internal audit. Please, can you join our gentlemen here? I must not forget we don't have the retired PSs. Our PS, Olumiwaige, please, can you join as well? Of course. Then after that, we have other members of the high table joining that photograph, please. Please, can we applaud them? Please, can we have all the members of the high table please join Mr. Moro of Tijani, representative of the LIRS, the State's Auditor General's Office, all of the distinguished personalities. Please, let's join the representative of ICANN Registrar, Mr. Shakarudin Balogun as well. Yes. Mr. Yegmile has refused to smile. He doesn't want to leave the office. After I said, I saved him from being impeached. And he did shaka. He said, they can impeach me now. It's too late. While the incoming and outgoing remain, can the body of past chairmen please join? Past chairmen, please, can you join? All our past chairmen, they are the ones that gave this chapter the bite that it has, the size that it has, the weight that it has. Mr. Dusoya, Mr. Abdul, Mrs. Ayola, Mr. Tairo, Mr. Badmos, Mr. Odubore, Mrs. Odubore, and of course, Mr. Olaniyo, Mr. Lamidi. I must not forget Emeritus, Dr. Mrs. Babatunde. We're waiting for Dr. Mrs. Babatunde. She must be part of this photograph. Dr. Mrs. Babatunde, please. Oh, okay. She wants to exchange pleasantries with Thank you very much, Dr. Mrs. Thank you, ma'am. Can we have that photograph taken? Please, can we put our hands together? The outgoing ESCO, where are you? Don't leave. Oh. Okay, the present ESCO, that you, okay, present ESCO. Present ESCO, we need you. Present ESCO with the chairman. Present ESCO with the chairman. He's no longer incoming chairman. He has come inside now. ESCO. And this will be the last photograph session before we have the acceptance speech. Mr. Akinola. Oh, Mrs. Akinola. Okay, she's busy at the registration table. She's the Yamato of this affair. So she will join us. We can take it in 2 sets. One without her, one with her. Mrs. Akinola, please. Is she on her way? Photographer, halt the process. Thank you. Yes, please. Let's quickly take this photograph before we have the acceptance speech by. Can we please applaud the ESCO as they return to their seats? At this point in time, I will be handing over the microphone to the chairman of the Lagos State Public Service Chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Mr. Taufik Adeyanju, FCA.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. His Excellency, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by PS Accountant General Dr. Abiodun Muritala, the President of ICANN, Malam Tijani Musa Isa, FCA, ably represented by Chief DCS Alaribi, FCA. HOS of Lagos State in absentia, Chairman Local Government Service Commission, Honorable Kamal Ainde Bayewu, FCIB, members of the State Executive, Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Abi Olowo in absentia, Permanent Secretary Accountant General, Lagos State, Dr. Abiodun Muritala, Permanent Secretary, Auditor General for Local Government, Mr. Obafemi Musa Ogunlano. Then Permanent Secretary, AG Accountant Auditor General, Lagos State Representative, Mr. Adewi, FCA. General managers here present, body of permanent secretaries, directors, distinguished members of ICANN governing body, the guest speaker, Alhaji Razak Jayola, FCA. Other members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great privilege to stand before you this afternoon as the 13th chairman of our respected chapter with a high sense of responsibility to deliver my welcome address. First and foremost, I want to give my profound gratitude to Almighty Allah, the giver of life, for his grace and mercy in achieving this feat. I thank you all, my professional colleagues in Lagos State Public Service, for the confidence reposed in me to lead our enviable chapter in the next 1 year. I do solemnly promise you that I would not take this golden opportunity for granted. To our ever supportive #1 citizens of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, your usual support always make a great impact in our chapter activities, and I can only crave for your continued support for this new administration. I sincerely appreciate the 58th ICANN President, Malam Tijani Musa Isa, FCA, esteemed council members, and the body of past chairmen here present for gracing this occasion. I want to also use this medium to express
my appreciation to the Commissioner for Finance, Head of Service, the Permanent Secretary Accountant General for Lagos State, PS Auditor General for Local Government, Chairman Local Government Service Commission, other permanent secretaries and directors for their generosity to this chapter in the area of members, for their generosity to this chapter. I hereby solicit as Oliver Twist for more support, most especially in the areas of sponsorship to ICANN annual conference, seminars, and trainings to enable us have wider knowledge and exposure, which will in turn translate to more effective performance in the discharge of our various official assignments. To our highly cherished body of past chairmen, I really appreciate the good precedent you have laid down for us to build on. Nevertheless, your continued value advice and guidance cannot be overemphasized. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this year public lecture titled Blockchain Technology, Financial Dynamics for Economic Growth and Development. The topic was carefully selected to widen our knowledge and enlighten us on a distributed digital ledger as it relates to the economy. In conclusion, I believe I can always count on our distinguished members, past chairmen, and those in official capacity to extend their moral and financial support to the new dispensation for a successful and historical tenure. Thank you all for your attention. Long live Lagos State, long live ICANN Lagos State Public Service Chapter, long live Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, long live Lagos State, long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Can we please put our hands together for the chairman, Mr. Taufik Adeyonju, FCA. Please applaud the chairman. Applaud the chairman. Thank you. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all courtesies duly extended at this event. I'd like to let you know that every good thing must surely come to an end. This investiture and annual lecture is about winding down now. The chairman, Mr. Taufik Adeyonju FCA, he asked me to let you know that the party after party will hold at the Central Bank of Nigeria. Please welcome for a vote of thanks at this point in time, a member of the new ESCO as sworn in today, Mrs. Adenike Akinola, FCA.
The Governor of Lagos State, ably represented by the PS Accountant General of Lagos State, Dr. Abiodun Muritala, FCA, the 58th ICANN President, Malam Tijani Musa Isa, FCA, ably represented by Chief DCS Alaribe, the Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Rabiu Olowo, the PS Accountant General of Lagos State, Dr. Abiodun Muritala, FCA, the Permanent Secretary, State Auditor General, ably represented by Mr. Adewuyi, FCA, PS Auditor General for Local Governments, Mr. Obafemi Ogunlano, FCA, the Local Government Service Commission Chairman, Honorable Kamal Bayewu. Our very own PS, Mrs. Adetutu Oshosonya, one of the founding members. She was one of our founding members of the chapter. Thank you very much. Our very own retired but not retired. Our PS, Mr. Olujimi. Other members of the high table, body of past chairmen, and also the facilitator, Alhaji Razak Jayola. Thank you very much. I want to express the deep appreciation of the chairman and his ESCO, all the ESCO, and all the members of the ICANN Lagos State Public Sector Chapter. To Mr. Governor for always being supportive of not only the association, but all accountants and public servants. Deep appreciation goes to the Honorable Commissioner for Finance for his unending support to the chapter. Also, I wish to express our profound appreciation to the PS Accountant General, who has remained a formidable pillar of support. To all my senior colleagues and to my other colleagues, I say a big thank you for taking time to be at this laudable event. God bless you all. And our prayer is we'll all witness many more of these public lectures. I wish you all safe journey to our various destinations by the grace of God. Thank you once again. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Can we applaud Mrs. Adenike Akinola FCA once again? You know, the truth be told, if they didn't have her besides the chairman, I wonder what would have happened. Do you know why? Women are the best things that ever happened in any organization. If you don't believe me, ask Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu why he has more female PSs than male PSs. He will tell you. And that's why Lagos State is still working. And it remains the center of excellence. Please put your hands together for wonderful women. Okay, I noticed that only the women clapped for us. All the men, I've recorded those that didn't clap for women. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. At this point in time, the vice chairman will be leading the high table out to have their lunch. The vice chairman will lead the high table out to have their lunch. Meanwhile, we crave your indulgence that you please all remain seated. The reason we're going to give you your meal tickets so that you go to the meal table. There's a special arrangement for the high table, and that's why the vice chairman herself will do us that honor of getting the high table their lunch. I don't want to tell you where they are going to have their lunch. We don't want to disrespect them by seeing them carrying the spoon in here. There's a secluded place like this for them. But we plead with you, please let's remain seated as our meal tickets will be given to us. Can we have music as we all get ready for lunch? Thank you.
He don't cast, last. Now everybody go to breakfast. Shayo. Shayo. You go bow for the result, though. Nothing to discuss, cause I did win by default and without any doubt, though. I'm a me happy adult, though. I no go feed the girl, I no go feed the guys out, though. my mind as you be talk. I put my life into my job and I know I'm in trouble. She manipulate my love. I know holy and I know that get both. Like the Baba Frayo, my ayo, don't cry yo. I need to go and shadow. 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 Shadow. I need to go and shadow. I need to go and shadow. I need to go and shadow. I did protect when them kill Obama. I did try to buy moto, one Toyota Corolla. My feelings been they swing Django Lover. Feelings been they swing like Django Lover. Now you crash your Ferrari for Lucky Bona. Now some more to remain could have been all over. My feelings today swing like Django Lover. Feelings today swing like Timbani at you. Come on, white dog in Fenisu. Why you say I did nothing for you when if I do anything you want me to do? Timbani at you. Come on, white dog in Fenisu. Why you say I did nothing for you when if I do anything you want me to do? Maybe another time, maybe another life. You will be my wife and we'll get it right. We don't cast, last. Now everybody go to breakfast. Have to say bye-bye, yo. Bye-bye, yo. To the love of my life. My ayo, don't cry, yo. I need to go and shadow. 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 I need to